My name is Van Adams, and I am a candidate in the ED/LD Principal Certification Program at Lamar University. For my observation option, I chose one that addresses learner-centered values and the ethics of leadership. I will do this by observing a teacher in a classroom through the lens of an administrator. I will make notations of the colleagues' attention to learning differences, multicultural awareness, gender sensitivity, and ethnic appreciation. This is a fundamental skill that must be learned and developed by an administrator over time. With the guidance of a mentoring principal, mentor coaching, and reflective practice will help me develop as an administrator. I will be observing Miss Berlin's second grade classroom. I have met with Miss Berlin to discuss the observing activity. She stated the activity would focus on the instructional strategy of using graphic organizers to show understanding of a concept, as well as asking probing questions to encourage students to explain their thinking and to share their thinking with others. Ms. Berlin also explained that she would use technology to enhance learning. In addition, she explained that she would model completing the graphic organizer. After modeling part of the graphic organizer, she would then allow her students to work independently. Ms. Berlin stated she will assess student engagement by observing student participation, as well as making notations if they are accurately completing their independent work. Lastly, Ms. Berlin explained that she would ask students to explain their work as they were working on it. She would also ask them to make adjustments to their writing in completing the graphic organizer. The following 30 minutes of this video will show me in the observation of the classroom instruction.
See water droplets just flying up into the air?
No!
Why not? You just told me the sun heats it up and it goes into the air. Why don't I see water droplets just flying around everywhere? Is it still water, Kaden?
No.
What is it?
Turns into water vapor.
What is water vapor? I don't understand.
Water vapor is a type of air.
It's a type of air. Okay, I need a little bit more. Can somebody add on to what he's saying, Luca?
It's a type of gas. So it starts from a liquid, turns into a gas, and then it turns into a cloud.
Okay, pause. I don't want to know about the next one. So when it's a gas, am I able to see it? No, so that's why we don't see the water vapor just flinging around everywhere. All right, so it's up in the air now, and something happens to it. The sun heated it all up, so it turned into a gas, and now we are up in the air. And what's going on now, Daniel?
It's going to fall out from the cloud
Okay, we kind of skipped a step there. You told me about the cloud. What happens when it gets in the air, Daniel? It makes what does it make, Dennis?
It makes, so after it evaporates, what
Mhm.
happens?
Yeah.
It turns into a cloud.
It turns into a cloud. How does that happen?
Because all of the water comes together,
Uh-huh.
and it makes it even better than all of the big pieces come together and they make a cloud.
Okay, so the sun heated it up. So is it still hot when it makes the cloud? No, what happens to it? Arian?
The atmosphere cools it down and makes it into a cloud.
That's what I was waiting for. The atmosphere cools it back down and it makes it into a cloud. Then Daniel said that cloud gets way too heavy and it starts to what, Daniel? It starts to rain or any other weather. What do we call that, Daniel? When it falls down and it's raining, Is it condensation when it falls down and it's raining, Daniel? Can somebody, Daniel, can you ask a friend for some help? Daniel, we didn't hear you. Who did you ask for help, my love? Arian. When it falls down out of the cloud,
Precipitation.
it's called precipitation. Now, is rain the only way that we have precipitation?
No.
What else could happen, Isha? It could snow. What else could happen? Yuki? We said rain. We said snow. What else could happen, Joseph? Say it louder. It could hail. Hadley? It could sleet.
What's the atmosphere?
The air all around the earth. And then it could sleet. Why might it snow or hail instead of rain? Why does it snow or hail or something instead of rain? Let me get Dennis to tell me that.
Because if it snows and if it hails and if it comes down to sleet, it's because the weather is very cold and it freezes all of the water. So
Good.
it turns into different types of.
Very good. That's what I was looking for. The temperature outside changes it, right? Okay, we are going to take the paper that I just gave you and we are going to create a water cycle flip book. Now, I'm going to show you mine and we're going to do the outside together and then I'm going to tell you the expectations for the inside so that you can create yours, okay? So right now, everybody on the back of your water cycle flip book, name, number, and date. You have 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Luca, on the back, put your name. 10, 9, 8. I want your first and last name every time. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you for sitting safely, Daniel. There we go. All right. Our water cycle, I'm going to move my picture over just a little bit, okay? Our water cycle flip book is going to look like this on the outside. So I have each step and a small little picture to show each step. Why do I have arrows pointing around and around? Addison? Because it keeps on going and going and going. So we're going to make our outside look like this really quickly. You need a pencil. You're going to need your crayons. 5, 4. Oh, would you like your crayons back for right now? Can you use them wisely during this time? Here you go, bub. Hands up. You catch 3, 2, 1. Okay. I put condensation up in the tip-top flap because condensation is a what? Cloud. And where are clouds? In the sky. So we, in this very top flip flap on the outside, are going to write condensation. Do you see how I wrote it big across the top, Elijah? I need for you to be doing the same thing. Luca, I need for you to be doing the same thing. Joseph, did you get it in? Did you write condensation on your paper? Okay, what is condensation represented by usually in our pictures of the water cycle, you guys? A cloud. Now, I know clouds are white, but if I draw a white cloud on this, I won't be able to see it. So, I'm going to do a gray cloud.
Because it's raining.
Oh, there you go, because it's raining, and it gets dark when it's raining. I like that. So I'm going to do my gray. You should also very quickly be drawing your cloud. Thank you. If you don't have a gray, what can you do to solve your problem?
Ask somebody.
You can ask somebody. What else could you do?
Mix black and white.
There you go. Mix black and white. Use a black crayon and color lightly. I love those suggestions for a friend. Nikhil, do you have a question, my love? I'm sorry. That's another great way to solve your problem. You could also do it in blue. Thank you.
Can we do it in our
Yes, of course you can do it in your pencil, but please don't shade it with your pencil because then if I touch it, I'll get your pencil all over my hand, and I don't like when that happens to me. Yes. Clouds don't have eyeballs, so can we make our cloud look realistic, please? Thank you. We're not laughing at our friend. We're being respectful.
It's just creative.
That's creative. I like that, Elijah. Okay. Joseph, what's up, bub? Huh? I'd like for it to be going. Thank you. All right, I'm going to draw an arrow to my next step. So, I'm just going to kind of draw a little arrow over. When my cloud gets too full, what's the next step?
Precipitation.
Precipitation. So we're moving over to the next one. Precipitation. What might I want to draw to show precipitation? Melissa Ann? Rain. What else could I draw if I don't want to draw rain? Isha? I could draw snow. Can you quickly draw your precipitation? Oh, good plan. How are you going to show hail, Lisa?
I can make like a chunky giant drop.
You sure could.
Can you even get a towel?
Sure can.
Yay.
We need to get moving though. We've only got about 2 more minutes to do the outside. You're going to need to have time for the inside, Dennis, before we go to recess. No, I'll give you some more time tomorrow. Yes. We'll be painting our hands and then I'll let you guys work on that.
Can I make sleet, hail, and
Anyway. Okay. Now, my next step, I need my black crayon again. What's the next step I'm going to? My rain has fallen.
Accumulation.
Accumulation. What would you like to show accumulation with? What are we going to do to show accumulation? Danya, what can I do to show accumulation? I can make an ocean. I might just draw some little waves like this. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes.
That's kind of what I'm doing.
You could also draw a river. You could draw a lake. You could draw a puddle. Whatever way you would like to.
Anything that's accumulated.
Anything that is accumulation is A okay with me.
Pond is small, just a small part of the lake. Accumulation.
We did draw a landform. What landform is that one? An ocean. Good job making connections. We should have what's in it. Okay, and I'm going to draw my next arrow. What's the last step that we have not put in yet? Evaporation. Now, we can't really see evaporation happen, can we? No. How did we show, even though we know we can't see it happening, how have we been showing it on all of our things that we've been doing? Or in the videos that we've watched, or in our notes? What have we done, Leia?
We've done arrows.
We've done arrows. Where are the arrows pointing, Leia? Up. Why do the arrows point up? Whoop.
Because the water is going back and up to the cloud.
Good. So I'm just going to take my blue crayon and I'm gonna draw some arrows up. Even though I know that we can't see it, just a quick way to show it. Yes, sir?
I would like for you to draw it like we're drawing it together, okay? Can you please use your crayons instead of shading with your pencil when I touch it like that?
Okay. Oh, good idea. That's a good way to do it. I'm gonna give you about 5 more seconds on the outside, and then I wanna show you and tell you the expectations for the outside. Joseph, way to be a problem solver. When you get up, move your clip up on your way back to your seat. Yes, the inside, sorry. We did the outside together. I'm gonna show you your expectations for the inside. You need to move closer to the screen. Also, where else could you look on one of the words? In your notes. There you go. Okay. Now, do you see how each of these little flip flaps opens up and you can see the inside?
Yes.
Whoa. I'm going to show you my inside quickly. On my inside, I basically drew a picture like the one that's in your journal. I'm so glad that you like it. Now, I drew a picture. I'm going to wait. Thank you. I drew a picture like the one that's in your journal. Except that when I open up my condensation flap, I can see condensation and then I have a sentence that explains what condensation is. When I open up my example's getting in the way. My precipitation flap shows precipitation and has a sentence explaining what precipitation is. My accumulation flap shows accumulation and has a sentence explaining what accumulation is. And my evaporation flap, again, shows evaporation and again has a sentence. What do you think you're then gonna need to do? If mine had a picture and a sentence for each section, and when I open up the whole thing, you get a whole big picture. Naz, what do you think I'm gonna be looking for?
We're going to be looking for a picture, a sentence, and I have a question.
Okay.
Can we draw lines through the middle and the sides so for accumulation we can just keep on going? And we have
Do you mean like this? I would rather you not. If you'll open it up like that, just one flap at a time, that might help you. See how only that one flap is shown? Okay. I'm gonna look for a picture that shows the water cycle happening and a complete sentence in each one. Your sentences must explain each step. Tell me what is happening. Your sentences need to start with a capital letter and end with some form of punctuation. Do you have a question about what you are going to do until recess time? Addison. Okay, she has 2 questions, so we're all listening in case you have the same question. How many steps do we have? 4, so I expect to read 4 sentences. Okay. We will have until recess, which is about 20 minutes. Hadley,
Are we going to do cups?
you're editing? We might, yeah. You can do cups, you're editing on your own, can't you? Yeah. Josette? You were listening to our neighbors' questions. Of course, always. Yes. I'm confused about what dots you're asking about. Are you talking about like on Brain Pop when they showed the water vapor going up? Any other questions? Leia? For the whole thing. One sentence for each step. Okay? We all set, you bet? Say.
Can you do the arrow? Can you use a different color?
Yeah. Don't know that. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you may begin. Also, which flap is there? So in here, I expect to see a picture of condensation and a sentence that explains. That's okay. It works the same. You can do this. That's great. Whatever you need to do, my love. Huh? She asked if I could open the flaps on mine. And I said no, because I don't want you guys to copy. I want to see what you know from your brain. Yes, love.
Can you write your sentences?
Sure. Sure. Yeah, guys, I've had 2 people tell me this. So look, if you open this up, Danya said she was going to do her sentences on the outside flaps and then her picture in the middle, and Dennis said the same thing. You can do it whatever way you want, okay? It's however you want to do it. As long as when I open it up, I see a picture and a sentence. What do you need to be sure to include? What is the thing that powers the entire water cycle?
The sun.
So I need to see that in your picture.
Is this your break time? Or did you just get out of this up?
Somebody.
Covered for you.
Yeah, it's all the third graders are practicing for their performance. Yeah. So.
Wait, where did you find that pencil?
We're gonna share. We're gonna share. You have a pencil in your hand, right? Okay. How does that not be water? Start thinking about that. What do you mean, Lynn? We did talk about that word. What's that step called? You have it in your notes, so you wrote it down. I've already told them. So what's this? You can always do one. I'll be right there, Michaela. I don't know if we're gonna have a book here or not this year. I'm sure that Miss Malloy will let you know that. Addison, go give your table a table tally. Everybody is working so nicely over there.
Luca, Mrs. Finley needs to see you writing your sentences or working on your pictures. Do you think that I can see anything happening in the middle of your page? Do you need to move yourself over here? So that you can focus better? Answer my question. Do you need to move over here so that you can focus better? Go ahead and do it. Luca, if you're gonna move yourself to be in a better spot, do it quickly. Thank you. Oh, wow. Look at all that writing you got going on, Bubba. Don't let that slip up. Hit that word fast. Good job. What's that? I'm not showing you mine again. It's a picture depicting the water cycle under there, 4 sentences. Things like and you and I purpose what you've got. This is so that Elijah principle. Operating my problem. Is that better? I said I expected a picture and a sentence for each one. Our time check says that we'll be leaving for recess in about 5 minutes. Yes. Not. Here, can I see it?
You don't have to do really good pictures.
Can you add some more information to this? Why do they come together? And how does the water rise up? I have the how because they go up as water droplets. How do you remember? Do these crayons belong to you or they belong to me? Okay, I have them in my hand.
Kate, I'll be there in 2 seconds, okay? Thanks, bud.
Yes, sir.
Did you get it?
Yes, my love.
Oh, well then let me know when that's done.
I'm already Why is that like because I keep on doing it here.
You know how to do that. You didn't need to do that.
Now I have to erase it.
I've noticed that as we're getting closer to recess, more people are starting to chat.
Because people are starting to finish.
I've only seen one person that told me that they were done, and even they had to add things. Is when water turned into water vapor. You gotta pick a sentence. You add the word evaporation on the inside of the next year. Okay. What is the rainfall from the sky? If I walked up to you, Kaden, and I said, when rain falls from the sky, would you have any clue what I was talking about? But what if I said it to somebody that didn't know what precipitation was? Would they know? No. So can we make them complete sentences? Thank you. Whoa! What, sister girl? Holy good job.
I'm gonna do my picture and
Alright, if you can hear my voice copyright. If you can hear my voice copyright. We are going to clean up our desk and make it nice and neat. We are going to go ahead and we're going to put away our water cycle notes. And we're going to put our flip book in our blue folder. Later today during centers, if we get time, we can finish this. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to have it all cleaned up. 20.
A teacher in a classroom through the lens of an administrator while noting my colleagues' attention to learning differences, multicultural awareness, gender sensitivity, and ethnic appreciation. I observed Ms. Berlin's second grade classroom. Mrs. Berlin's activity was both well developed and it enabled students to understand the concept of the weather cycle better. Using graphic organizers was beneficial for all students, but especially those students who are ESL, or English is their second language. During my observation of Mrs. Berlin's classroom, I noticed several effective instructional strategies. Some of these strategies include teacher modeling, asking questions with varying levels of difficulty, and using graphic organizers. The graphic organizers were flip books. They were intended to increase comprehension of the weather cycle. It is worth mentioning that there were several anchor charts in the room. I noticed students referring to these charts for specific vocabulary that pertained to the lesson. Students also used the charts to help them answer questions. Additionally, I also noticed that when a student wasn't sure about the correct answer, Mrs. Berlin allowed them to have a friend help them answer the question. Ms. Berlin would then re-ask the question to the same student to ensure that they indeed had grasp of the answer. The first thing I noticed about the differentiated instruction is that Ms. Berlin was well aware of those students that needed more or special attention. Some of the students needed reminders to stay focused. Those students in the room were situated closer to Ms. Berlin where she was teaching the class. While Mrs. Berlin was evaluating the sentences in the graphic organizers or flip books, she asked some students to work on simple sentence structure and punctuation, while she would challenge others to use different adjectives, or she would encourage them to write more sentences. Mrs. Berlin seemed to use different methods to praise students for their work. Some received stickers, some a pat on the back, and some were allowed to change their behavior charts. I noticed that she divided her time evenly among boys and girls. She also divided her time evenly among all ethnicities throughout her classroom. Every student in the class got some level of attention from Miss Berlin. Mrs. Berlin also asked varying levels of questions depending upon the student she called upon to answer. It seemed as if she had planned some students which questions they would receive, so that they would be ready to answer the question. The students seemed to enjoy the activity. They were engaged for most of the activity. This was evident through their focus on drawing, coloring, writing, and completing the pictures in their flip chart. Students were very proud of their work, and they constantly sought Mrs. Berlin's attention to look at their work. As students neared their recess time, their engagement did slip somewhat near the end of the activity. I thought Mrs. Berlin's activity was very well planned. The flip books the students completed effectively combined concepts and vocabulary with pictures to increase concept comprehension. Mrs. Berlin did a great job modeling how the flip book should look, including the outside, the inside, as well as writing sentences to describe the pictures. I really like that she did not allow students to copy her sentences. She wanted them to write their own sentences in order to internalize the learning and for them to practice writing sentences. I was surprised to see how well students recalled the information with such accurate vocabulary. Though this was partly due to the fact they had already been exposed to the terms and they could use their anchor charts, I was nonetheless impressed with their recall of the information. This experience will definitely transform my practice as a school administrator. First of all, it really underscores the importance of an administrator making observations for instructional practice. Equally as important, as an administrator, I feel that it is my job to provide other colleagues time to go observe their other colleagues. This is important for two reasons. One, it allows colleagues to share best practices among the campus. And equally as important, I feel that it would increase morale. If more teachers can get confirmation and validation that they're doing a good job from their colleagues, I think it would benefit the school as a whole. I've really enjoyed this experience and I've learned a lot from the experience. I will continue to learn as much as possible through observation. Some of my observations will include looking from outside of the classroom because I do believe going into the classroom presents a different perspective. In any event, much was gained from this experience and I do intend to repeat it again. Thank you.